Good evening. Melissa Johnson here for episode 41 of Melissa Loves to Talk. Today is February 9th, 2026, and I am sorry that I am late. Had a little bit of technical difficulty. I could not hear out of my headphones. So I had to restart everything, go through the whole stuff. And again, I am still not great at this stuff, so I had to get help, you know, all the fun stuff. I'm gonna pull this a little bit closer. There we go. Um, anyway, so um today there was a lot of talk about the Turning Point halftime show. I don't know if you watched it. If you watch Bad Bunny and instead, I'm not going to judge. I don't really care which one you watched. I watched The Turning Point because I would like to understand what they're singing, and really the wording I heard is not that great. Someone actually um talked about what the words say. She was, a Spanish speaking woman. She said the words and they're pretty disgusting. So even though you can't understand them, you're still getting those words in your spirit. So really glad I decided not to watch that. Not that I would watch that anyway, just saying, because I want to watch stuff about America since I live in America. And that's all I'm really saying about that. I don't really, understand all the stats and stuff. Um, and I mean, you can look it up for yourself. I actually, you know, am trying to do a lot of stuff with Turning Point. So, I am hoping that it really went well, which they said the numbers were pretty good for Turning Point. Which is good for people that, you know, again, like I said, you don't know the words, but the words still go into your spirit. So, um, so for those of you that didn't watch Bad Bunny, good for you. You didn't get all that junk put in. So, again, I will, probably talk about Turning Point in the future. Like I said, I'm trying to get really involved with them and do some things with them. So we'll see. I don't know when I'll, meet the big honchos, but if I have to start small, you have to start somewhere. So, anyway, really what I want to talk about today is more like what Congress is doing for us right now. Because if you didn't know, your tax dollars pay them. I'm pretty sure everybody knows that, but your federal taxes pay them. They make roughly $174,000 a year to work for us, and not really sure they ever do. So just saying. Thank you, Cassandra, for watching. Hello. Um, I don't really think they do. I'm gonna show you some stuff that they should be doing, but they're not. Um, oh, and I'll show you some stats so that you see that it's not just me that's saying this, it's other people. Because again, I'm not the only one talking about this stuff. So, some of the stuff you may have heard about, there's two different acts that they're supposed to be voting on right now. The SAVE Act, which actually has been passed by the House. It is now in the Senate's hands. They have to vote on it. And then it would, if they don't change anything, it would go to the president to sign into law. If they change something, it would have to go back to the House. The House would have to vote on it again and then send it back to the Senate. It's a whole ordeal. Okay. I'm going to tell you exactly what the SAVE Act is. I'm going to show you some stats about the SAVE Act. And, you know, you could just tell me what you think about it. So again, the screen will go black. It should work. It should kick over to show the video. I'm hoping it's working. This is not the best technology that I have, so sometimes it just doesn't work. So hopefully it will work. Okay, so I'm hoping I can read this. Okay, the SAVE Act was introduced last year. So it was introduced in the House 1/3/2025. That's when it was introduced in the House. They just voted on it and just passed it to the Senate, just so you know what they've done with this act. Okay, so the bill requires individuals to provide documentation proof of U.S. citizenship when registering to vote in federal elections. Okay, so this is just saying that to register to vote, where normally you register to vote at the DMV when you get a ID anyway, which you have to, I guess. I know when I go, I have to have a birth certificate, social security number. So I've proven that I'm a U.S. citizen. So then they would just give me an ID and I can register to vote. I assume that is every state, but apparently it's not. So this is why we have to have a bill for it. Specifically, the bill prohibits states from accepting and processing an application to register to vote in a federal election unless the applicant presents proof of U.S. citizenship. The bill specifies what documents are considered acceptable proof of U.S. citizenship, such as ID that complies with the Real ID Act of 2005 that identifies U.S. citizenship. Okay. Okay. So this is just saying you don't even need your birth certificate. You just need your ID that you would have got because you had to prove that you were a U.S. citizen. Okay. Further, the bill prohibits states from registering an individual to vote in a federal election unless at the time of the individual applies to register to vote, the individual provides documentary proof of U.S. citizenships and requires states to establish an alternative process under which an application must submit other evidence to demonstrate U.S. citizenship. That seems like it says the exact same thing, but each state must take affirmative steps on an ongoing basis to ensure that only U.S. citizens are registered to vote, which shall include establishing a program to identify individuals who are not U.S. citizens using information supplied by certain sources. Additionally, states must remove non-citizens from their official list of eligible voters. The bill requires for an individual right of action against an election official who registers an applicant to vote in a federal election who fails to present documentary proof of U.S. citizenship. Well, I like that. So they'd get in trouble if they registered someone to vote that doesn't have proof of citizenship. I like that a lot. I didn't know that. The bill establishes criminal penalties for certain offenses, including registering an application to vote in a federal election who fails to present documentation proof of U.S. citizenship. Okay, so that's good. But I thought that it said that you had to have ID to vote, which that doesn't say that. It just says that you have to prove that you're a citizen to register. Okay. Well, either way. So it says it was introduced, then it passed the House. Now it's in the Senate, but it has not passed the Senate. And there has been 2 roll calls to vote, which I'm assuming was both in the House, because I don't think the Senate has. Here, let's see. Just because I don't want to tell you something that's wrong. Okay, so Hmm. Interesting. So it passed last year. What failed the first time, and then they voted again and it passed. So the Senate's had it for a while and have not voted on it. Okay. So I'm glad I looked this up because I thought it just got passed over to the Senate. So there you go. You have your people not working for you. Okay. So I'm going to show you a video of what people think about asking for just ID to vote, which I thought this said you had to have ID to vote, but it didn't say that. It just said you had to have proof of citizenship to register. So either way, here's a video. Just so you know, this is CNN, which is left leaning. So not my video, not from my right leaning people. This is a left leaning network.
So voter ID, just so people understand, is the idea that someone shows a photo ID when they go to vote, when
Correct.
they go to cast their actual ballot, because there's a separate discussion right now about needing a passport or a birth certificate to register to vote, but the polling is all on voter ID showing an
Correct.
ID to vote.
Showing a photo ID to vote. And the American people are with Nicki Minaj, because what are we talking about here? So take a look here. Favor voter ID to vote. Look, I got all this polling on the screen going back since 2018. You'll notice on all of it, it's all north of 75%, 76%, 76%, 76%, 81%, and then 83% in the last year of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj. They favor photo ID to be able to vote.
What about by party? What's the party breakdown?
Yeah, normally you might expect, hey, there'd be a big divide by party with Republicans really for it and Democrats really against it. But not really here. I mean, just take a look here. Favor photo ID to vote. You got 95% of Republicans, pretty much all of them, but even 71% of Democrats favor photo ID to vote. So again, Nicki Minaj posting that on X, and what you see is that the American people, actually, it's not really all that controversial. The American people are with Nicki Minaj, whether they are Republican or even if they are Democrats. We're talking about 7 in 10 Democrats agreeing with Nicki Minaj that you, in fact, should show a voter photo ID to vote.
What's the racial breakdown?
Okay, what's the racial breakdown on this, right? Because I think a lot of people make the argument that people of color, non-white Americans, have a harder time procuring a photo ID to vote. But even here, take a look here. Favor photo ID to vote. 85% of white people favor it. 82% of Latino. 76% of black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country. A photo ID to vote is not controversial in this country. It is not controversial by party, and it is not controversial by race. The vast majority of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj that, in fact, you should have a photo ID to be able to vote.
So something of a non-controversy, in other words.
That's very good. The alliteration of Mr. John Berman, that Harvard education, paying off once again.
Harold, and thank you
Thank you.
much. So voter ID, just so
Okay, so there you have it. People are in favor, majority, which majority rules in a democracy, right? We live in a democracy, they love to say. The majority rules. So majority people, it was 83%, which is higher than 17% of people that don't. So you have 17 people that don't think you should have ID, a photo ID. 83% think that you should. So you go with the majority, which is what our Congress should be doing, which the House did. The House voted on it and passed it. But for some reason, the Senate doesn't want to pass it. I don't know why they don't want to pass it. Now, this, again, was not really technically the bill, but I thought there was a bill that said voter ID. But either way, you have to show citizenship to get an ID. So either way, you'd have to have citizenship to have an ID. So therefore, you would have an ID saying that you are a U.S. citizen and you can vote. Okay? It's not controversial because 83% of Americans say you should have a picture ID to show you're a citizen so you can vote. It's not controversial. I just showed you from CNN. CNN is left leaning. Well, they're left. They're Lulu left. Okay? So They say 83% of Americans, and then it's 85 white, 83, what was it? 85 white, 83 Latino, 76 black. So look, you have people saying they want photo ID to vote. So our wonderful Senate is not voting like we want them to, as usual. This is why I'm talking about it, because elections matter. So when the elections come and your senators are up for re-election, vote them out, because they don't care about you. You're paying them to vote the way that you want them to vote. 83% is the majority. 51% is majority. So we have 83%. So they're not voting the way you want them to vote. Okay? We voted for President Trump. We want his stuff passed. They are not doing it. So that means vote them out. Okay? That's the way it works. You don't do your job, you get fired. Okay? That's how it works in any other job. If we don't do our job, we get fired. They don't do their job, they need to be getting fired. They work for us. We pay them with our tax dollars. That's how they get paid. I know everyone knows this, but I just want to reiterate, they get fired because we vote them out. Okay? When we're not doing our job, we get fired. They don't do their job, they get fired. This is the problem we have in this country, is people just keep voting them back in. I know a lot of it is voter fraud. I understand, but it's not all voter fraud. Okay? It's people don't get out and vote. You have to vote. Voting matters. Elections matter. Okay? If you look at all the states that have turned blue, or all the cities that have turned blue in the last year, you can see what's going on in those cities. Okay? Elections matter. We have midterms coming up. There's governors up for re-election, or new governors coming in, whatever. You got governors up for election, you got senators, you have House of Representatives, you probably have some sheriffs. They all matter. So please just get out and vote. Look it up, see when your day to vote is, look it up. All you have to do is Google it. When is my election date in my city, whatever your city is? You just Google it. You Google it for everything else, look it up for your elections. Okay? Please get out and vote. Every election matters. We're seeing all these red seats flip blue. We need to stop it, because our country is under siege. We have got to stop this. It's crazy what's going on. And we're just sitting back letting it happen because we think our vote doesn't matter. Every vote matters, especially if 25% of the people are showing up to vote. 75% of the people think their vote doesn't matter. That means, look what they did. 75% of people stayed home because they thought their vote didn't matter. Their vote didn't matter. And all these seats keep flipping blue. All these cities and these states are getting ruined. I mean, just the main ones. Like, I haven't even looked up like the ones that no one talks about, because they're probably even worse. But New York City is awful right now. In a month, it's went downhill. It's quick. People don't realize how quick it can go down. And then Virginia. Taxes. That's what they want to do. That's what they do. They tax the people that work so they can give free stuff to the people that don't work. That's what they do. That's communism. It's the playbook. And that's what they're doing. They give everybody free stuff that's not working and tax. I'm trying to use not words that are bad. I mean, I don't cuss, but people think crap's bad. So, they tax us till we can't breathe is pretty much what they do. So they can give all this free stuff away. So we need to be voting. Please look up your elections. A lot of people have special elections they don't know. And these are the elections that are turning blue because they're special elections and they don't know about them. The one that just happened last week, they flipped that seat in, where was it? Anybody know? I want to say Louisiana. I'm not positive if that's it. But I know it just flipped. It was a red seat. It flipped blue because people didn't show up. Same thing in Virginia. That was a red seat. They had a very good governor. Governor Youngkin, he was doing a lot of good stuff. I don't know why he didn't run again, because he could have. He only served one term. I don't know why he didn't run again. It really stinks he didn't win. I mean, he didn't run again because the woman that won, because people didn't show up, that state is going to be hurting. When those taxes start coming into effect, they're going to be hurting. So elections matter. That's why I'm showing you all this stuff. These people are not voting the way you want them to vote. You vote them out. I don't do my job, I get fired. You don't do your job, you get fired. These people aren't doing their jobs, they need to be fired. These people that been in there for 20, 30, I mean, Nancy Pelosi, I know she's retiring, but she's been in there since 85. 85. That's a long time. That's insane. That's insane for somebody to be in Congress that long. These people can't walk and they're trying to serve us. They need term limits or they need to be fired. Okay. They have to pass the term limits. They're never going to do it. So it's fire them. Be like Trump. You're fired. Right? Okay. So there's that. The SAVE Act. We want that passed. You can call any senator. If you call them, you can call any of them. You can call every single one. There's 100. If you want to call every single one and say, I want the SAVE Act passed. If you email them, they have to be your senator in your district, which I figured out because I'd rather email because I can email and I could put a whole bunch of stuff in an email. You're going to get a voicemail if you call and you get cut off after a sentence. You know, it's going to say beep after you talk too long. If you email, you can email whatever you want, but it can only be your actual senator that's in your district. If you call them, I mean, you can be quick if you want to call all 100 of them and just say, hey, my name's so-and-so. I want you to pass the SAVE Act. I mean, you can get nasty if you want and be like, look, elections are coming up. If you want my vote, you better be passing the SAVE Act. I mean, they need to hear from us. Like I said, I called the couple that that are in my state that are not in my district. It wouldn't let me email them. But the one that was in my district, I emailed them. It was just easier. It's like I said, it is easier to email, but I may just go down the line and just call every single one and just tell them, pass the SAVE Act. Be like, the elections are coming up. Y'all are going to get voted out. You're not working for us. You're working for you. And we pay your salary. I know $174,000 isn't a lot to them because, they do inside trading and all that. So it doesn't matter, but it matters to us. So you can do it. Literally, if you just Google how to contact your senator, the whole list comes up. It'll give you the whole list. You can email or call them. And I literally just called them right from my phone. I just hit call, that's all you got to do. I didn't call them all. So I'm probably going to because they just need to pass this. I mean, just vote for it. Pass it. It's over. 83% of people want you to pass it. Vote with your constituents if you want to keep having a job. It's that simple. I'm going to talk about this, not all of this, but I am going to talk about elections probably almost every episode to remind you, look up when you have to vote. You have to vote. Don't forget to vote. Because apparently people are not knowing when they have special elections or when they have elections and they're not showing up. Or they, again, think their vote doesn't matter. Well, 75% of people thought their vote didn't matter. It did matter. Because that's majority. If they would have voted, it probably wouldn't have flipped the seat. It would probably still be a red seat. Virginia would not be getting taxed to death. The mayor in New York City, I mean, they could have flipped that seat and made it red. I mean, I think they could have if they would have showed up. But now you have trash everywhere. You have, just crime everywhere. And it's been a month. A month and a week. So how do you think it's going to go for the next 4 years? Because he's got his whole term still, unless they get him out of there, recall him or whatever. But anyway, so that was the one thing we need to be getting on our Congress for. And then here's a nice little one. Again, majority of the country voted for Trump. We want his policies passed. That's why we voted for him. That's why he won. Majority vote, popular vote, swing states. He won everything. Okay. Because we want him to do his policies. He can't pass them unless the Congress passes them to him for him to sign them in law. Okay. I know people think it's all on the president, but it's really Congress has way more power than he does. Okay. I know people don't think that, but that's how it works. Okay. So, this is another one. This is called the Dignity Act. Okay. They tried to introduce it in the summer. No one wanted it passed. Now they're trying to do it again. So I'm going to read that. And I don't have any video showing what people think about that because I don't even think people realize that they're trying to do this. That's why I'm talking about it, because I need people to know that they're trying to do this. Again, we can also, it's in the House right now, so you can just call your House of Representatives or email them or whatever you want to do, and get a hold of them so you can say, no, we don't want this passed because this isn't what we voted for. Okay. Again, I didn't vote for it. And I don't think any people that are really, really MAGA voted for this. So I'm going to show it to you and read it to you and then comment about it. Okay, so the Dignity Act of 2026, like I said, they tried to pass it in the summer, but it didn't even get anywhere. So now, of course, they try to do it again. So aims to reform the U.S. immigration system by enhancing border security and providing pathways to legal status for certain undocumented immigrants, which is illegal aliens. Okay, so they're here illegally. And they're trying to make a path for them to become citizens. That's not what we voted for. Okay, so key provisions of the Dignity Act. Number 1, pathways to legal status. The act proposes a dignity program that would allow eligible undocumented immigrants, illegal aliens, to obtain renewable legal status, provided they pass background checks and meet specific requirements. Nope, because we didn't vote for that. Border security enhancements. It includes measures to strengthen border security, such as increased funding for border infrastructure and personnel, and enforcing mandatory E-Verify to ensure legal employment. Okay, so they're trying to shove this in there so that they'll pass it. Okay, that's smart on their side, but no. Number 3, support for American workers. The act aims to protect American workers by addressing illegal labor practices and establishing the American Worker Fund to retain U.S. workers for higher paying jobs. Okay, again, they're throwing that in there to say, well, yeah, I support that. This is what they do. They put all this stuff in here so that you don't read it or just say, sure, I like that. Go ahead and pass it. Okay. Bipartisan support. The Dignity Act has garnered significant bipartisan support with 35 co-sponsors as of early 2026, indicating collaborative effort to address immigration reform. I'm sorry, it's really hard to see the screen. Oh, so it was introduced in 2023 and then reintroduced in 2025. Okay, sorry, I had that wrong. So sorry. That's why I'm doing this, because I thought it was in the summer. I didn't know that they had talked about it in 2023. Okay, the Dignity Act was initially introduced as H.R. 3599 in 2023 and reintroduced as H.R. 4393 in 2025. It has been referred to multiple committees, including the Judiciary and Homeland Security, but has not progressed beyond the committee stage. So just the committees are fighting over right now on whether they're going to put it on the floor. So as of February 2026, the Dignity Act is still under consideration in the Congress with ongoing discussion about its provisions and potential impacts on immigration system. This act represents a significant attempt to modernize U.S. immigration laws and provide a structured approach to addressing the status of undocumented immigrants, illegal aliens, while enhancing national security. Okay, so I didn't vote for a pathway to citizenship for illegal aliens. Okay, come here legally, and there's your path. Okay, you come here with a visa, you come here with a green card, you come here however else, whatever. Okay. Well, when you come here illegally, you broke the law to get in here, you get deported or self-deport and then come back the legal way. It's really, really that simple. No, we're not giving you a pathway to citizenship if you're here illegally. Okay. I didn't vote for that. And I can tell you most people that voted for Donald Trump did not vote for that. Again, they could do a poll and they can show majority of the people are not going to say, yes, they agree with that. All the other stuff, yes, we need to probably reform immigration because it's been taken advantage of for years and years and years. That's how we got all these illegals in here. I agree with reform to the immigration. But if you're here illegally, I don't think you should have any way to citizenship besides self-deportation and come back. Okay, you're here. This is what they try. This is what they said. Okay. Well, if they've been here for 20 years, they have children that were born here and they have grandchildren that were born here. It's not right. Can we, let them stay? No. Sorry, but no. You broke the law to get here. You get deported. Again, you can self-deport, get $2,600, pass go, home. Okay? You get $2,600 and a free flight to go home if you self-deport. Okay? Real easy. $2,600, go home, come back the right way. It's really that easy. It's probably easier than trying to become a citizen or whatever, being an illegal. If you turn around and come back and do it the right way, it's probably a lot easier than what they're going to make you do. Because if they do pass it, they're going to make it hard for you they're going to make it harder. Because now they're reforming it, so it's going to go to a different system. It's not the system we have now, which is already hard. You have to be here for 5 years legally before you can even start the process. I don't know if they're trying to make it where you have to be here less time. I don't know. Again, they're in committees. They're arguing about it. I'm sure Tim Burchett, you know, who else is usually fighting with us? I can't think of her last name. I know she fights with us. You know, we have the ones that'll fight and fight and fight, and they'll keep it from getting passed. Hopefully. Because they're saying 35 people are voting with them that are Republicans. They're for it. So again, get a hold of your representative. Say, I didn't vote for this. I will vote you out. I will vote you out. You are not doing what I voted for. You're not doing your job that I hired you to do. I pay your salary. You vote the way I want you to vote because I'm paying you. That's the way it works. That's how it should work. We don't do that. We don't hold them accountable. We just let them do whatever they want because they think they're the boss. We are the boss. We the people. For the people, by the people, of the people. We are their boss. We fire them when they don't vote the way we want. And we have not done that for all these years. And that's why they think they can just do whatever they want. They vote how they want to vote, not how we want them to vote, except for the few that always vote the way we want. That's what we're paying them. Tim Burchett, I love him the most because he tells you all the tea. That's the new thing, right? The tea. But yeah, he tells you it all. He makes a video almost every day and tells you what happened on the House floor. Every single day he makes a video and he tells you everything. Okay. He's my favorite. I wish I lived in his district so I could vote for him, but I don't. I live about 2 hours from him. Well, his district. I don't know where he lives. But yeah, we have the ones that always vote with us. And then we have the ones that backstab us. And that's what I'm calling it from now on. Backstabbers. Okay. We voted you in to vote how we want you to vote. We have the majority. We voted for Trump overwhelmingly. That means you vote the way we want you to vote, not the way you want to vote. That's not the way it works. Okay. They want to pass this because that way they can get these people. Well, okay. I'll say what else they said. Okay. Now, mind you, Marjorie Taylor Greene, not in there anymore, but she said it first. Okay. She said, oh, well, I have people that work for my business that have worked me for years. If I get rid of them, then I have to hire someone else. Okay. That's how businesses run. You have to fire someone because they weren't doing a good job. Then you have to hire someone else. You will hire an American. Okay, I get. Now you have to pay them more money. That's what it's all about. It's all about, well, I can pay them $10 cash an hour, but now I have to pay you $15. I have to pay you $20, whatever it is. Okay. Depends on the job, how much money you're making. But that's what they can do. They can pay them under the table. They can pay them whatever they want because they're here illegally. So they can't file paperwork because then they'll get found out. They don't pay taxes. So they live here. They're taking our jobs. They don't pay taxes. They get our free stuff. No, we want them gone. Every single illegal. Every single one. I get there will be ones that slip through the cracks. I get it. I want every single one, but I know there'll be certain ones because after, we get all the bad ones out, of course, triage, you get the bad ones out first, then you go back, you may miss some because they moved, whatever. You can't find them anywhere. They're hiding, whatever. Okay. I get the ones that aren't doing anything bad. They may slip through the cracks. Okay. Whatever. Okay. It happens. I'm not going to say we're going to get all 35 million. Okay. Which that's probably being nice. It's probably more than that. If you're going back 10, 20 years, they're saying 25 million came in the 4 years that Joe Biden was sleeping in the warehouse. Sorry. sleeping in the White House. Before that, we don't know how many people came here illegally. So you're saying 50 million maybe? And again, they all get counted in a census. So then they, get more seats for these districts because now there's more people. That's how the redistricting works. See, people want to say it's gerrymandering. Okay, that's what they try. Okay, no, the blue states gerrymander. They just move this stuff around and make it however they want. But that's not how it works. It works by how people vote. That's how you get the seats. Because you have 6 states in this country that doesn't have any Republican seats. That's gerrymandering. Okay? Those people in those 6 states have no representation if they're Republican. And a lot of those states, 40% of the state voted for Trump. Some of them, Trump won, and they still don't have any red seats. So they have no representation, which is taxation without representation. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? I remember a Tea Party happened because of that. So we need to be holding these people accountable. We need to vote. They don't do their job, they get fired. That's how everyone's job works. Okay, I can't show up to my job and sit on my phone and watch YouTube videos all day and keep my job. They're going to say, what are you doing? Why are you not working? Okay, maybe the first time they might say, what are you doing? Get to work. But if I do it 3 times, I'm probably going to be fired. They do this all the time. Last year, how many executive orders did President Trump sign? Hundreds. They passed 2 into law that I know of. Okay, maybe more, but I know 2 out of hundreds. We voted for him, which means we want his policies passed. That means you need to be passing them. That's what we pay you to do. So please, if you agree with the SAVE Act, please reach out to your senators. It's the senators, they have it now. So you need to reach out to the senators. If there's a problem, the midterms are real close. If they don't pass it by the midterms, we vote them out. That's just the way it works. Okay? My senator's a Democrat anyway. I'm voting his butt out as fast as I can because they already found the fraud, so they shouldn't be able to cheat again. So I'm getting his butt out of there. But we have other senators in other states. Even if they're red, if they're not voting red and they're not voting for us, vote their booties out. That's just the way it goes. That's how it works in any job. You can't be above getting fired if you're in Congress. They think they're high and mighty. They're above us. No, they work for us. They're not above us. We're their boss. Why they think they're above us, I don't know. Because they're not. So, please reach out to your senators first about the SAVE Act if you want it to pass. If you want voter ID, you want to make sure that illegals aren't voting. Okay? That's really what it's about. That's all it is. Okay? It's election integrity. Simple. Okay? Of course we want election integrity. Who wants people to cheat? Nobody wants anyone to cheat. At least we don't. I know the people that are in office want people to cheat, but we don't. Okay? Americans that run the country. Okay? Number 2, the Dignity Act. It is still in committee, which means we can stop it before it even hits the House floor. If we reach out to the House of Representatives and we get on them, we're like, nope, We don't want anyone to get citizenship that's here is illegal. They need to be deported. All of them. If they self-deport, they can come back. That's how it works. $2,600. Self-deport. Real easy, right? Sounds easy to me. Somebody gave me $2,600 and a plane ticket to go home. I'm going to do it. In most of these countries, $2,600 is a good amount of money. You can live like a king or a queen for a little bit in some of these countries. Or go home, get your paperwork, come back. I mean, it's not rocket science here. It's real simple. Okay. So thank you so much for watching. I started late, so I'm going to wrap up so I can make dinner so I don't eat dinner real late. Hopefully tomorrow I will not have the technical difficulties. Oh, not tomorrow. I'm not on tomorrow. Tomorrow's Tuesday. I have voting stuff to do tomorrow. So I'll be in an election meeting tomorrow. So, thank you so much for watching. Please, please, please reach out to your Congress people. Again, we're their bosses. We control them. They don't control us. It's really easy. So thank you so much for watching. Please like and share. If you have any comments, please leave me comments. If you don't like what I said, that's fine. You can comment that too. If you like what I said, you can comment that. If you have any ideas on how to reach people better, I am on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. So everyone that is on these can watch the same stream. So I don't know how to use other stuff. I know I can do X and TikTok now because I had enough followers. I don't know how to make that connect to this. So, but I'm trying to get it out so people understand what's going on. I know a lot of people don't have any idea about all this stuff. So that's why I'm doing this, so that you can be informed. Whatever you do with the information, you do with the information. I'm just giving you the information. So thank you for watching. God bless you. Have a great evening. Be safe. Stay warm. If you live in a cold area like I do, like it was 60 today and it'll probably be 28 tonight. That's about how it is this time of the year, where I live. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking and sharing. And you have a great night.